Hello, everyone. we are 11. We can start. This is fifth session of our series, tips and tricks for interviews. We are also calling as interview helper. If you go to IT Society resources page, which is Go IT Society resources from your account, your browser, you will see this page. Under this resources page, let me share my whole screen so you can see that. So when you do Go the IT Society org resources, you land in this Notion page, which has many resources that you can just navigate. Under job resources, we have interview helper, and some other links you can just like discover after this session. Interview helper is helping you out about the interviews. We are giving just like non-lead code company list here, how to get prepared, some tips specialized to each and every session or job role. We are also having, we just like also uploaded all our previous sessions here. You can just go to this Google Drive and watch the previous sessions. And you can just go to the main document that we are discussing in this series. And today we are on fifth topic, which is the most important topic, which is on-site interview. So, yeah, I will also take notes. That's why I get back to my account. So I want this session to be interactive as possible. So please interrupt me. Please give any insights, any experience from your past, and enrich this session. Especially we have some hiring managers today with us, and they can also give their point of view on these items, because it's always valuable looking in the eye of an hiring manager. So I tried to come up with a list of tips, important things about the on-site interview. First of all, what is on-site interview? On-site interview is the real interview thing that we are talking about. When we say interview, we mostly mean on-site interview. It is just like the last step that evaluates your technical fit to this job. So it is just after, it might or might not be the technical phone screen or take-home assignment step, but like after this step, you definitely 100% you have an on-site interview. It depends on role, it depends on the position that you apply. The structure of on-site interview might be different, but like most likely you will have 4 to 5 sessions. For some positions, 2, 3 sessions maybe, but like most positions, 4 to 5, even it can go to 7, 8 sessions, depending on the signals that you have given in the previous sessions. They may add some more additional sessions to your interview panel. So you got 6, 7, maybe 8 sessions in some companies. So this is the, as I said, this is the main thing that you have to prove your technical ability to that company and your fit to that job position. To the end of this position, you are trying to sell yourself. After this position, like after you are successful for on-site interview and company wants to move forward with you, the other steps, negotiation, and the other steps are just like you are more powerful. Company tries to sell itself. But even for very good interview panels during the on-site interview, good real companies are selling themselves to engineers because they value their candidates. So this is kind of a mid stage that you are technically selling yourself to the company, and company is trying to sell their business to you. This is just like mutual interviewing on both parties. The first thing that I would recommend, strongly recommend, is having one day empty before a P0 company, which means a very important company for you. You shouldn't have any other interview one day before. Let's say you want to get into Google and you are interviewing 5 other companies, and you just like passed all phone screens, and you have 5 on-sites to be scheduled. At that time, you have flexibility to select the day that you will attend that company's interview. Do not select consecutive days for the important companies that you want to attend, actually. So if you are selecting, for example, June 16 for Google, leave June 15 open and focus on June 15 totally on Google questions on lead code. And the latest questions, filter them out from discussions and try to focus on the Google kind of question mentality. This is something I have done, and really worked for me. Any updates, any additions to this from anyone?
I can add one thing. Probably you will also mention, but you don't have to schedule all the sessions into the single day. If, for example, most of the time it will be probably five sessions. Let's say 2 design, 2 coding, and 1 behavioral. You don't have to schedule everything, because the recruiters are generally, they tend to bring everything into single day. But you have the option to ask them. Not all the companies may give you this opportunity, but this was my experience in Google, that they let me to divide into 2 days. Yeah, it was easier for me to. Otherwise, you will be very tired, and with all of them all together, it can be hard to tackle.
Yeah, thank you. Really good. By the way, are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Mujahid. Another scheduling wise hint is do not put 2 companies to the same day. It is like after this one, this is obvious, but like I'm saying never. Like even this is not a P0 company for you. If this is not a very important company for you, don't put, because both of them will fail. It is like human brain has limits, right? 3-4 sessions makes 3-4 hours, which makes like the best way that you can do, like before lunch, one company, after lunch, another company. Don't do this. Even your timeline is tight, don't do this, because you will fail both. Even I don't recommend to put in the same day series of interviews from one company and the phone screen from another company. Even this is very hard, actually. So put one company to one day, and make like, if you can even do like 2 days, as Mujahid told, 2 days for a single company, and leave 1 day before open and focus to that company's questions. And all the subtitles that we already discussed in the previous session in all for phone screen session here, like all these, are applicable also to on-site interview. I put this synchronized block to here, so anything added to technical phone screen here will also be added directly to here. I don't want to get into details. Like most of them are really applicable. Give a positive outlook, be energetic, etc. These are all about a single session, so it's applicable to the series of sessions too. But I can give some more related to more like on-site. So in on-site interview, you have multiple sessions, and at most 2 sessions are designed to be identical. If you have 5 sessions, probably there are 3 different tastes. So first, learn what sessions you will have. Probably you will get a schedule of your sessions with the name of interviewers, with the details of these sessions. I would strongly recommend to do a research for interviewers, their background. This will give you an idea, not about the question, but the direction that they want to go ahead. So that way, especially for system design kind of interviews, you can have a rough idea of what this person would ask, and what kind of interview session will happen. And so actually I just explained this one. So even some technical sessions are designed to measure your leadership or soft skills. Some coding sessions are really designed just like coding. You will understand it from the attitude of the interviewer. They are not looking at your soft skills. They are just like looking for a solution for that problem. Then this means this is a really hardcore coding screen. But if they really want to discuss something with you, design something with you, discuss the efficiency of the problem, etc., this is really also measuring maybe your soft skills too, or technical deepness in technical conversation. Also, what the other side of the session detail is the evaluation criteria. Some companies are publishing their evaluation criteria. Some can easily be found in the internet resources, like some YouTuber videos, some Teamblind posts, some Glassdoor posts. You will be able to understand the different tastes, different flavors of companies, their expectations, their evaluation criteria. One thing, for example, I noticed in my Google interview panels, that interview sessions, that actually they are not 100% interested in my how would I say, if I solve the question or not, 100% to 0% kind of distinction. It's not like a black or white kind of. It's very gray in Google interview. It really depends on how you approach the question, how you communicated with the interviewer, how you planned your solution. Even you couldn't solve. What is your plan for a solution? If you communicate this really well, they really are very satisfied. One of the sessions I had happened in a way that I explained my solution. They asked me, can we improve this without developing anything? We were just discussing. He said, like, can you improve this? I had many ideas. Some of them he just like rejected, or not rejected, but like he showed me that it doesn't work. But it was a really good conversation, actually. We really liked ourselves, like each other, during the conversation for 20 minutes. We just discussed the solution and we didn't start coding. And then I started coding after we have an optimal solution planned. I started coding, but like I first like put some boilerplate codes, etc., because I still was not clear about the real solution of the problem. I was just like putting some priority queue that I had to put. I know I had to put, but like the real algorithmic solution was not clear on my mind, and we didn't have time to finish it. And he said, like, it looks like you know the stuff that you are doing, and you don't have to finish this, and that's it. We can go over your expectations about a team or soft skills kind of a conversation for 10 minutes happened, actually. So and I get an approval from that session, actually. It doesn't work always this way, but like my solution was not complete. Even it was not a solution, I believe. It was just like a boilerplate code. So I think your communication about your solution, your technical communication about your solution is very important for some companies. But I heard in some companies, for example, for DoorDash, I heard you have to solve it. You have to solve in the almost most efficient way. Otherwise, you are rejected. Even you have an idea of solution, it doesn't matter that much for them, and they are not that much discussing solution with you. They are just waiting for you to code, actually. This is different flavors from different companies. You have to know what the company expect from you. Anyone wants to add?
Yeah, I can add that. You are right most of the time. It's communication skills is very important, and how you explain everything and your thought process, and these are all very critical. But at the same time, I saw I'm actively interviewing, and I saw some of the interviewers gave a feedback that the candidate couldn't properly finish with the best solution, or they're expecting basically you have to design the algorithm and have the code properly, and then all the guard checks in your function, and complete testing the code, and as well as telling about all the memory and the CPU requirements. I mean, the complexity of your algorithm in terms of memory, space and time complexity. They expect that everything is perfect, but your experience, I think, is probably most likely you can feel the expectation of the interviewer, and if they are rushing you to immediately write code, probably they are basically giving you a signal that you have to write the code and immediately and finish it on time. But in my also experience in one of my sessions, I couldn't. I came up with an algorithm. It didn't work. We changed algorithm, and I explained, and but time was up, and but I passed the interview. So it totally depends on the interviewer, but not the company, I guess. There can be different. That some companies may have, as you said, it's a totally different approach, but in general, it's all about the signal you get from the interviewer, I think.
Maybe one more clarification. Thanks, Mujahid. And on top of yours, it also depends on the position, actually. So I heard that from more like junior or entry-level positions, companies are expecting more like running code, actually. I mean, for more senior positions, they may also look at the communication, technical communication skills. That's why at least like the balance of the code completion versus technical communication is different than a junior candidate, because you don't expect a junior candidate to communicate that much like a senior. So just like they have to code, they have to come up with a running solution actually. I don't know if this is true, but this was my understanding from the post that I read. Is this true, Mujahid? What do you think?
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, for especially for L3, L4 positions, you're supposed to have better coding skills, more hands-on. And if you are L5, it's your system design becomes more important rather than coding interviews. But again, you have to pass all of them.
Yeah. Any other addition from anyone? Cool. This was about like they consider each session separate as just like I really do feel this is very important, because for technical phone screen or for only single session, you remember I had a recommendation last week, like even you fail in the first 10 minutes of your session, just like keep you up, keep you motivated, refresh yourself and try to solve again, attempt it. Don't make yourself down during the interview, and keep yourself always up during the interview. So this is valid for series of interviews too. So let's say you are supposed to have 5 sessions from a company that you want. First session is it is medium, kind of, it is you solved but not the best way. Second session, you screwed up, you haven't come up with any solution, even you couldn't code even one line of code. So you're in the third session. If you think that second session was failed and then you don't have any chance, then you continue screwing up in third, fourth, fifth sessions. Don't do this. Just start every session fresh. Every session is separate. Start every session fresh, because if you send mixed signals to a recruiter, like from first session, it is 3 out of 5, let's say. Second session, 2 out of 5. But the other sessions are 4 or 5 out of 5, like almost perfect. Then recruiter will schedule another additional session, hopefully, to replace an unsuccessful one and try to get you into the company. Because one session failure might happen by anything, actually. Maybe interviewer was not a good interviewer. Maybe you were sick and you had a headache at that session. Maybe there was a sound outside, you were not successful for that session. So keep all sessions separate and just like focus on the session that you are doing at that time. Anyone wants to add anything?
One comment, it may not happen for all the companies that if you are failing in one of the sessions that there's no guarantee that you'll be rescheduled for another session. Some companies may have this kind of exercise, but it's not that common, probably. And another tip I can give is that if I saw especially in coding and system design interviews, most of the time interviewers ask some icebreaker questions, like can you tell me about yourself and what you are doing in your current job, something like that. This is supposed to be maybe 2-3 minutes conversation, but some candidates fall into a trap that they keep explaining their job and what they do, daily exercises that they do in their job, their projects, these and that, and spend maybe 10 minutes, which is very valuable time. So if you are scheduled, let's say, for a 45 minutes coding, you are losing and at least 5-6 minutes, which is very critical for you. This is don't spend much time on this. They are asked just there is no most of the time there's almost zero effect of what you explained at the beginning, like with your current job and your responsibilities, this and that. They don't care. They just ask for just like an icebreaker and just a starter question. It's nothing to do with in your overall performance of your interview.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Then we can we can go ahead, since you jumped in to that, Mujahid, we can go ahead the manage your time. It's not valid for all positions, all sessions, etc., but like a regular technical interview, which is 45 minutes. I myself is just like not exceeding 4 minutes for saying hi, giving some small intros, doing an icebreaker kind of with candidate or with interviewer. And then I got a question from the interviewer, for example. I spent at most 5 minutes to clarify. This is also a trap that you shouldn't spend too much time, because interviewers want you to jump into the solution and start coding actually as soon as possible. I saw in many interview notes that the first time that you start coding is just like in interviewer's interview note. So it's like in 7th minute he started coding, in 15th minute he still didn't start coding, kind of feedbacks I saw. So don't spend too much time on clarification, and spend 10 minutes for sure with getting approvals or getting some different directions from interviewer. That these minutes may change, but like just most likely in most of the sessions, you spend 10 minutes to have something reasonable, not very, very effective, but reasonable. And then 10 more minutes to focus on the hard parts, the hardest parts of the algorithm, and the problems which will affect most of the scenarios that you run to validate your code. Just like eliminate these kind of things in the next 10 minutes. And after that, in the other 10 minutes, you have to validate your code. So when you come to here, this point, your code should be something running actually. So you just validate your code with some small test cases. You don't have to write unit tests or something. We are not talking about that, but like you have to, even with some comments on lines, you can just put some variables, test variables, validation variables, and line by line, you can debug with comments, with putting comments actually, and validate your application. And if it is failing, you have to solve the problems, the bugs. And also, if you haven't handled some edge cases, at that time, you have to also handle those edge cases. This is a healthy stream of a coding session, I would say. Anyone wants to add anything on that? Okay, so while doing that, this is a helper, I believe. So don't try to come up with the best solution from the first minute, the interview. When you heard the question, let's say when you heard the question from interviewer, you immediately have an idea of a solution, but it is not that much efficient. And you hesitate to tell this because it's not efficient that way. Don't do this. Do not hesitate. Just tell them, my first solution to trivial way should be like this, but don't start coding because it's trivial. But say something trivial if you are able to say in the first minute. This is very important because you are quickly coming up with a solution. But also mention that this is not the ideal solution. I know this is not ideal solution. We can improve this. This is not ideal because this complexity is like that, like this, etc. These are really good conversations that your interviewer will like, actually. Any additions? Okay.
Can I quick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
I just wanted to have a quick question on this. So if you know the best answer, let's say best solution, optimum solution of that question, should you still start from the non-optimal solution and progress to the optimal solution, or like just directly from the start go to the optimal solution? What would be the strategy for that?
If you are 100% sure, you don't have to go with the trivial solution. You can just go with the effective solution. That's totally fine. But you have to explain why you selected this effective solution and why it is effective, actually.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, if you also aware that there are other solutions, non-effective solutions. Let's say if it's a sorting algorithm, right? That you can like do a brute force and solve it in n square time. Then you can. I think it's especially for the senior positions, you are expected to talk about the trade-offs. So this is kind of how much it's engineering is always all about the trade-offs, and it gives like you'll get some additional credits for talking about all these and comparing the solutions. If, for example, if I select this, I wouldn't select this because of this problem and this kind of inefficiency. But the best solution should be something like this, and then this will be my my solution. I would rather explain all of these all together if I have time.
Yeah, definitely. Like giving trivial easy solution as an alternative and saying why it is not efficient and why I didn't select that, it shows you why do you stick with the optimal solution, and it shows that you know what you are doing, actually. That is, I always talk about some trivial solution, to be honest, even for easy interviews.
Maybe we should mention one thing additional. Is that this is a general thing actually. So during the interview, you probably will start with like if for most of the big companies, like FANG companies, they will tell you that okay, you'll be interviewed for, let's say, L4, L5 at the beginning. So your performance will eventually will tell them that okay, this candidate can be L5 because of all they check all the expected abilities. But at the same time, if you, let's say your coding is very good, but your communication is not that good, and you don't show that leadership skills, most probably interviewers are generally have the tools to recommend you for other levels. Like this, I don't recommend for L5, but I recommend for L4 kind of thing. Your level can change, and even if you interview for L4, there's a possibility that you can get a better offer for like L5. I'm assuming this will be rare, but yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So down leveling or up leveling might happen. We should keep this in mind. So don't if you are not doing very well, don't make you upset and keep up. And if you are doing so maybe you will be down leveled, but still you will get into that company, right? These are possibilities for some companies.
Yeah, true.
One another thing is never get disconnected with the interviewer. This is I really value as an interviewer this, and I saw from my past experience many failed candidates. Failed means didn't able to solve the question, was not able to solve the question. These kind of candidates mostly lost the interaction with me because I really give very important hints, but they are not getting any communication from me because they are stressed, they are not listening me. And so even I saw some candidates didn't trust what I was saying actually. Like they thought I am misleading them on purpose and testing them. Don't forget, none of the interviewers, none of a good interviewer misleads you on purpose. They never tell something incorrect to test you. This doesn't happen. Don't think that like they told me this, but I wonder if this is true because maybe they are testing me. This doesn't happen. They ask directly, or if they say something is this, then this is probably correct. You have to rely on what they are telling.
This is very, very important, Erdem. I agree with you.
Yeah, like it is not a joke. It is not a game. Like interviewer will not tell anything incorrect during the session. And don't forget that that person knows the solution of the question. This is also very important. It means that they have the solution. So any hints they are giving, always getting you into the solution, not any path closed or not working. So this is also very important. So the most important thing in a session, I believe, is not the question itself, but the hints that you are getting. It is because it is closer to the solution than question.
This is not only important for the interview, I will say. Regardless of being interviewed or trying to solve a problem, for the interviewers, it's a kind of welcoming session if you are successful. And in these sessions, if you're not listening to the other partner, it is very similar to the project discussions, right, during the daily work. So you will not listen to them during projects sessions as well.
Yeah.
So nobody wants that actually to happen in his daily life. So it's a very, very bad experience if you don't listen to the interviewer. If you're not getting anything from the interviewer, that's a very, very bad sign for you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And additionally, if interviewers are expected to talk about and give feedback about whether the candidate accepts or gets the feedbacks and quickly respond and take the hint or not. If they are not taking the hint and continue with their solution, which is probably will not work, then it's also very clear red sign that this candidate is not suitable for the job because, as Tahsin mentioned, he's not taking any feedback and he's kind of has a very strong opinionated person, and this is not a very good skill set for the teamwork. One experience I have also is that sometimes some interviewers like to give a lot of hints, and if they give you hint, they most of the time mention this in their notes, and they say that, oh, I gave this hint, and then interviewer unlocked and then continue to solve the problem, kind of thing. But getting so many hints and needing so many hints also is also red sign. You are not supposed to need that many hints, and I'm not sure how to balance that and communicate with the interviewer. And maybe you can guide the interview that, okay, let me think about this and give me a few seconds. And because some of them are very willing to give you some hints, and this may also, but at the same time, these hints, taking the hints also may be a problem for you. Taking so many hints, needing so many hints, maybe I should correct.
Yeah.
This is also another point.
I think this is also very important. Like it totally depends the interviewer's personality. Some people are really giving too many hints, even it is not needed, and then because of these hints you fail actually. Maybe one thing that we can do on candidate side of being like looking like confident actually and not confused. Almost I'm almost very close to Soul kind of a look like will convince interviewer to wait and not giving that much hint actually. If you seem like confused a lot, stuck a lot, then you will get lots of hints from interviewer. So try to actually define the time that you will get a hint yourself. Don't leave this opportunity to your interviewers. Just like manage the session yourself. Don't let him to manage actually. This is I think in parallel what Mujahid you told. And some bad signals, red flags. You should avoid these red flags and bad signals even inside the technical sessions, because these red flags are collected from all kinds of sessions, starting from your first phone call with your recruiter to the end of the whole negotiation. These are all collected always. Anger, this is a red flag, like I would say unnecessary or rapid kind of anger. If you blame others, your teammates, about your past experience, if you are talking about your failure, while talking about your failure, if you don't own your failure, then and blame others, this is a really very bad red flag. Negativity, always seeing the negative side of things, this is also somehow a bad signal, not a red flag maybe, but it's a bad signal. Not getting feedback, as Mujahid told. If you are not getting any communication from your interviewer during the session, this also shows that, as Tahsin told, in the future, if you work for this company and if you design something with your teammate, you will not get feedback. You will do whatever you want and you will not get comments or feedbacks or pushbacks from your teammates, and this will cause huge conflicts within team.
I can interrupt here, but at the same time, if you are very confident about your algorithm, right, and the interviewer has another algorithm in their mind, and maybe they are trying to guide you to that solution instead of your solution, there's also no harm that if you can explain well that you are in a different solution, different way. Like let's say you'll use a hash map instead of hash set. Let's say because of that, if you can explain it very well and your solution, if you can form your solution properly, it shouldn't be a big problem not getting the feedback.
Yeah, I just added, like it is, you are getting feedback actually, but you are not doing that way. Like it is still, you are getting feedback. Especially you have to explain that, you have to show that you understood what they are trying to hint you. You got that, but you are thinking that your solution is more effective or same efficiency, but you will develop this easier because you are more familiar with that way, but you totally get the feedback. Kind of communication might be good. Yeah. And one thing I have seen in the industry a lot, and I really, in my interview notes as interviewer, maybe 1 out of 3 interviews, failed interviews, I have this note actually. Some people are using too many buzzwords. This is more likely applicable to system design interviews than coding interviews, I would say. It's even for coding interviews, it's very valid because I saw some candidates like saying heaps, priority queues, dictionaries, etc. Lots of words, queues, stacks, but not start implementing anything actually. Just walking around the solution, a problem, but not actually saying anything valuable or doing anything valuable. So don't do this. This is a real red flag. I mean, you fail the session, but also you get a red flag actually. It is a very bad sign. So it also may affect your other sessions actually. So I would strongly recommend to talk about the real solution if you want, if you know. If you don't know, don't try to tell whatever you know. Maybe for some entry-level positions, it is good to show that you are aware of the space, technical space, the terminology. But for senior positions, definitely, I wouldn't recommend doing this. This might be different from person to person. This is my thought. What do you think, the others, about this one?
I'm not going to talk about maybe the buzzwords, but I think one also thing to add from my perspective is not making too much bold statements. I mean, what I mean by bold statement is it's something like, oh, Windows users are losers, like Windows is an insecure platform, like, or who are these people using PHP in 2022? Or like, why you are using Java? It's on an old language, kind of. This kind of very bold statements and meaningless statements. To be honest, I heard these kind of statements in interviews, and candidates are saying that kind of bold sentences, and they are not true. Actually, that's very bad red alert about a candidate for me.
Yeah, I heard this as a feedback, like being too opinionated actually, about a technology or way of doing, like for example, coming to an interview session and just like saying like SQL is dead, I solve everything with NoSQL, or NoSQL is useless, SQL is solving all problems. You shouldn't do like that, right? You have to adjust your decision to to the problem that you are trying to solve. You have to reason. You have to give reasons.
Exactly.
And we are about time. So this is the last step. Ask valuable questions at the end regarding company and team. Thanks, Oğuzhan. Just post this link to IT Society Discord resources. I just put this here. Is it true, Oğuzhan? This is the answer for this question, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I haven't checked the link yet. I will check, but this is an exact, very good answer. You can also find some answers in the internet for that company to be asked to that company, but like the important thing is ask valuable questions actually. So try to find something really valuable actually. This will really help the communication between you and the interviewer. All interviewers are human, so some of them are more human, some of them are less human, I know, but like all are human. So being in personal touch and communication really may affect if you are in borderline. Anyone wants to add anything?
Since you mentioned asking questions, I'm not sure we touched this, but at the beginning, it's when you are asked the question. This is valid for both coding and the system design, but maybe it's more important on the system design side is to, in order to understand the question very well, and you should be asking clarifying questions, lots of questions. And rephrase the explanation of maybe the answer of the interviewer, so that maybe you are solving the wrong question, wrong thing. You can misunderstand, and you can go into very different direction. So this is also part of the system design interview, especially that you should be always part of this communication between you and your interviewer is always asking the direction. Would you like me to go and design the database now, or we can only put a box database box and then focus on more, let's say, on protocol side or something like that. Yeah, the asking questions and clarifying, this is key, and it's also a very good sign that you are also expected to ask lots of questions during the first couple of months of your job. Actually, it's always a very good engineering how to say skill to be able to ask good question. So this is also part of the interview, and you are also evaluated by your questions as well, not only answers.
Oğuzhan, you were saying something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add about the latest phase of the interview. It's somehow recommended to ask a quick feedback at the end of the interview, if that's possible, because it's a human nature. People cannot give bad feedbacks directly to someone who's listening in front of you, right? So it's easier to put some bad feedback in the paper or in the system without seeing that person. But if you ask at the end of the interview, if you ask for a feedback from the interviewer, he potentially, the interview ends with potentially a positive vibe, because he's not gonna, even if you failed in some attempts, he may use some soft words while he or the interviewer giving you feedback. So and interview ends with that a little bit more softer, positive feel, and interviewer will remind you with that positive last feedback, right? So I read that in an interview guideline, which was suggesting to ask a last feedback from the interviewer.
I'm curious, doesn't it show you a bit weak. I mean, like if I'm asking how this interview passed, then I have some doubts that I haven't done good actually enough. What do you guys think?
Yeah, actually, I was about to say the same thing. I agree with Ozan. So the thing is here, as you said, for your Google experience, right? Sometimes you know which portion you have completed and what is remaining. And you want to learn how to solve the remaining part. This is how you ask actually the question, but if you ask the question properly, you will show your curiosity, your desire to learn something. So you improve yourself, especially if your interviewer is some technical guy, a very technical guy. Probably he will be very, or she will be very happy with this question. Because sometimes you can see some interviewees trying to solve the question. They are very confident. They are missing very crucial things, and they are not aware of this. This is very, very bad impression. But with this question, you can remove such thoughts, maybe such impressions from the interviewers.
Maybe this can be a tool you can use when your interview is not so great, and after that feedback. If you are confident and you did very well job, it may not be that good to ask the feedback, because it shows that you solved the problem, but you are still not sure what you did. But if you really think that you failed and you couldn't explain things well, whatever, then you may ask, and then this can be kind of you are open to improvement and you are open to feedbacks kind of person. Yeah, that can kind of saving the day.
Okay, so I will put some content there. Like we are not have a mutual agreement on always asking this, because in my experience, for example, statistically, the candidates asking me how was my session, statistically most likely the failing sessions actually in my past experience. So that's why I'm thinking like if I do the same thing, I will show myself weak. But like in my last interview series in Google, one session, I really didn't do very well. I knew this was a system design interview, and I asked my interviewer, I only asked one time in that session only, and I asked, how did I do? And they said, it was okay. You were good, kind of an answer I got. I couldn't trust, but like it happened in not a very negative way. So probably he was right. He was saying true. So I asked only one time. But I mean, this is people's call. I will put here both opinions. Asking always will have always a better, contribution into your judgment in their judgment, versus ask only if you think it's not very well enough to end the interview in a positive vibe, as Ozan told. I will add both ways to here. Thank you. So I think we are out of time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for contributions. Feel free to add anything to here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Adam. It was a great session.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.